Hola, Jessica here. I want to show you how I attempted to make a money cake with a store-bought cake. Happy birthday to you! Oh, I was like, wait. I'm trying to. She's an adult now. She gotta take her. It's money. Oh, it's real money. That is so cool. This dress is amazing. I went to the local grocery store and I bought a cake. Now I think I found the perfect cake to kind of disguise any mistakes that I probably and will make. I found an Oreo cake, and since the birthday girl didn't have a request, I figured I'm gonna pick a cake that it will be easy to disguise. Oreos come in handy. I did buy 2 packages of Oreos, but you're really only gonna need one. I'm positive you're gonna only need one. So I have about 2 hours before the party starts and I'm filming this intro, so I need to get into it. Let's go. So I have my money, I have my snack bags from Dollar Tree, I have my funnel. They actually came with 3 funnels from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna cut this loose. I have skewers I got at Joann's, a razor, scissors, and tape to hold it together. And I used a small plastic bottle. Preferably you're gonna want something that had liquid or food in it anyway. And I went ahead and steamed it and washed it out. You just need to make sure that your bottle is wider than the height of your bill. And I cut off the bottom of the bottle and the top of the bottle so that it creates a tube. So then I measured the width of the bill and I went ahead and marked it on the top. And what I want to do is poke through with a sharp razor, which I didn't have a sharp razor, but I still made it work. And you want to cut a slit just wide enough for the bills to go through. Remember, you have to wrap it in plastic, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. The idea is when you put the money through the slit, since the 2 sides are still holding the slit in place, the money will be able to slide easily. Now I gotta go wash this again. So I had 3 sizes to choose from with these funnels from Dollar Tree. They are the food funnels, not the oil funnels, but it probably doesn't make a difference since it's Dollar Tree, so make sure you wash them. Then using the bamboo sticks that I got in the bakery section, I wanted to find the hole where it's not super tight but not taking up a ton of room, so it ended up being the middle funnel. And I went ahead and just used my scissors to cut down. It was really cheap plastic, so it cut very easily. It comes time to actually put this in the cake. If you are mindful of where the larger side of this funnel is, it'll be way easier to skewer the cake. So it's really easy. You just get the snack size storage bags and you just push the bill all the way to the bottom, and then you cut with about 1/8 of an inch on top of the bill, and then use the tape to fold over and close the top. So I didn't do these one by one. I actually did assembly line and I stuffed all the bills in these snack bags, and then I did the next step of cutting. So I laid a piece of tape down sticky side up, and then I'm just going to leave it on the table, and then as I go through, make sure your bills are pushed all the way down. Cut along the top, face down. And then that one, the entire top is sealed. So I made it like an assembly line, which is nice. I don't have to tear each strip as I'm going and holding it. So to connect the bills, I used a similar method where I laid the tape down with sticky side up, attached one bill, and then I flipped it over, making sure that the heads of the bill are going in the same direction. It will just make it look cleaner. And then I attached the second bill to it, wrapped the tape around, and you can add extra tape on the back to reinforce it if you want. But this little gap between the bills, even though it's so slight, it's going to make a difference when you're rolling it, and you don't want it to overlap because you really want to see each individual bill. You're just going to keep going, making sure that the heads are the same direction, and it's not a hard method, just take some time. So if you did it like I did and you want it to be more dramatic, I used smaller bills. So if you're going to do this and you have a larger bill, put the larger bills at the top so that it just looks more dramatic and it's the first one they really focus on. So you want that to come out first. To help me roll the dough, what I did was attach a piece of tape to the largest end of the funnel, and then I took just like the tip of the tape and attached it to the last dollar in the corner. What this did was help me to keep the roll tighter as I began to roll it, which helped me. When I didn't have it, it was really hard to keep it in place. By not doing an entire tape and really holding it down, this allowed the birthday girl to unroll it, and with just the lightest force, she was able to pull all the money out of the cake. As you roll, you're going to find you're going to have air pockets, and if you don't poke a little hole in the plastic to release the air, you're going to have a very large, awkward wad of cash, and we want it to be very sleek so it takes up less room in the cake, so it's easier to slide out and we don't have to dig out the entire cake. And all I did is when I ran into an air pocket was take the razor, poke a little hole, push the air out, and then keep rolling. To keep it rolled nicely, I slipped it in the tube and pulled the top bill just slightly out of the slit. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the cake. So at this point, the cake probably was sitting out for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. So it probably wasn't long enough, but I tried using a spatula to remove the frosting and that didn't work. So I switched to a non-serrated knife and that worked great. You really just need to remove the center. I didn't need to remove the entire top. I probably ended up taking off too much, but I didn't know what I was doing. Using the tube as a template, I went ahead and just cut around the entire tube so that it was wide enough and long enough. And then I started to scoop out. The first top piece came out perfectly and I ended up using that again, so kind of keep that intact. But then just make sure you scoop down far enough that the tube can sit through. So I just eyed it. I was actually surprised. Just like that. It was so easy. Okay, so I started to get a little ahead of myself, but that top layer, I cut it in half and then I put it on each side of the slit without covering the slit. Make sure you don't pull the bill out too far, however, it does need to be past the opening of the slit. So I really needed to do the skewer at this point before I started loading up the cake. What you want to do is cut the skewer just slightly shorter than the diameter of the cake. Score the skewer, snap it, using a clean sandpaper or clean nail file, sand off the edge until smooth, and clean the skewer once again. This is why you shouldn't load the cake first, because you have to remember what side the larger funnel opening is on. Then it'll definitely come in handy. So I was still able to find it. Skewer the cake through the large side of the funnel all the way through to the other side, but without poking through the other side because you don't have to. It's ever so slightly here, but you can kind of see the cake moving. So I just stopped and you can see the skewer right here going through the funnel. This is the opposite side where I actually did have to puncture through, and to cover it up I just took some frosting, and since it was Oreo cake I just took some Oreos and covered it right up. The reason you want to go the whole diameter of the cake and not just the container itself is because the cake, when it's skewered all the way through, is going to help hold the container in place as the birthday person pulls the money out, because you're not sure how excited they're going to be and how much force they're going to use. So if you just go the width of the container, there's a greater chance that the container is just going to pull out, because the only thing really holding it down is some little scrap pieces of cake and icing. So the skewer is going to really lock it down so they can pull the money out. And as you'll see at the end, it works. So now we're just going to go and start frosting. And the lovely thing is, because I put the frosting in this bowl, I threw it in the microwave for 10 seconds and it just softened the icing enough that I was able to spread it, because I couldn't spread it before I put it in the microwave. But 10 seconds was all it took. These were Target finds and I kind of just placed them organically where I thought it looked good. I took a piece of ribbon and I taped it to the top of the bill. Be careful not to pull it out because you can't roll it back in. So I'm going to go around this H and kind of tie a knot and see if I can hide that. So if she lifts this whole happy birthday up, the money should start pulling out. Okay, so I tied it with a low knot here so it's loose up here. And then I'm gonna go warm up the rest of that so I can spread it underneath here and then stack some cookies. Alright, so we're on the way to the birthday party, and if they just think it's a store-bought cake and then something else comes out of it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joey. Happy birthday to you.
Joey, did you make a wish?
Joey, go ahead, you do it. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, I was like, wait.
I was trying to help.
She's an adult now. She's gonna take her.
I was trying to help.
Daddy's gonna be held against.
I know, I was trying to help.
Yeah.
That's Adam.
You are now officially responsible.
Take out the happy birthday, Joe.
That's right.
Is that
Take it out, take it out. It's real money.
That is so cool.
So we're back home. We're gonna settle in for the night, but I just want to do a little recap. I loved that it was a store-bought cake and I didn't have to make it myself. I loved that I used the icing I took off of there and I didn't have to add any more icing. You get a cake and a surprise and a memorable present, something different. But it was easy. Definitely loved that and probably will be doing it again. Thank you so much for watching. I can't believe it worked. You literally were on this journey with me because I had no idea what was gonna happen.
Baby, subscribe.
Okay, come here.
Be subscribe.
Please thumb us up, speak it and spread it. God bless. Ciao. Mama. Oh, my puppy. Or my seal.
Be subscribe. Be to Elliot.
Hey, baby Elliot.
Happy birthday, Joey.